Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Spirit Journey. Today is May Friday the 13th, 2016. Wow. And it's after 3 p.m. I was doing some thinking yesterday. I had a family member, well, a relative, a cousin of mine, who passed away. She was 92. And I was feeling a little melancholy for obvious reasons. But I started thinking about reincarnation, and I had thoughts about this before, but I just want to share some of my thoughts about reincarnation. And as many of you know on this channel, Spirit Journey, I am on my spirit journey. I'm allowing myself to explore different things in the regarding spirituality and testing myself and testing things so that I will be in the know rather than the belief. And I think that's a good idea for me to do because prior to that, I just went along with the main thought of society. And even in this spirit journey, I still, we hear certain concepts, and I just start to adopt it also as a new belief system rather than a knowing system. But I want to share you my thoughts and questions regarding reincarnation. Okay, um, it it had just dawned on me yesterday when I was thinking about this relative of mine, just the concept of as above, so below. And I think it's a correlation regarding the concept of reincarnation and what they call, science of the day. And I have my notes written down here. Like scientists, they want to pass off that, we evolved from monkeys, and then you have the opposite spectrum that talks about reincarnation, whether Buddhism or Hinduism, and so it's like the religious system, uh, in particular Christianity, they talk about sin, and um, the New Age or Buddhism, they talk about enlightenment lessons. And when I say enlightenment with reincarnation, that it is the belief that with each incarnation that there is some type of elevation. And so um, I feel that that's a link, as above, so below. That it's the opposite spectrums of each other, but is it really the same thing? Both of them are addressing the concept of that you're at a base level, and somehow you have to do something. You have to do, like, at least with Christianity and let's say Hinduism or Buddhism, that there's something, there's a level where you are, and it's about, at least with Christianity, that if you receive Jesus the Christ as your Savior, then this will elevate you to um, go into heaven. And then with my understanding with reincarnation, with the Hindu or Buddhist tradition, again, I'm not an expert, but it's just my understanding what I'm picking up regarding this belief system, that we come here on this earth to fulfill a particular task. It's almost, to me, it seems like a passive field, that if you hit the mark, then you elevate, and you don't have to at least learn that lesson. Maybe your next incarnation is a new lesson, and you always have to, I don't want to say prove yourself, and you know, this pass or fail, and then you keep going up. So it's always something about something lacking in you that has to be fulfilled or accomplished, and then you go up the ladder, so to speak. Okay? And so that's why it just clicked to me about as above, so below. So the above, I'm thinking spirituality versus science, because science, modern day science, in my opinion, is a religion, and with science, it's just about, natural selection, and that you have to compete, and then you move up. Everybody in, especially the industrial world, are doing so many things to elevate themselves. Plastic surgery, um, having a big fancy car, and then celebrityism. Everybody wants to move up that way. But I'm seeing that, okay, to what means to an end? What will be the end result? When all things are done, said and done, and you prove perfection, what do you get at the end? You know, and if this is a journey, it just keep on going on, and it just gets me questioning, well, what's the whole point? Okay. Some of the questions that I have um, further regarding reincarnation is that, you know, when we die, who gets to meet us? You know, um, I've I've heard over the internet that you have many people who have what they call a near-death experience, and in particular, this man, he's some type of scientist. His name is Eben Alexander, and he had a near-death experience. Um, he was in a medical emergency, and in short, he meets his sister. It's a sister he never met, and he could have gotten adopted even, but this was his biological sister, if I remember right. And during this near-death experience, he talks to this woman who turns out to be his sister. And when he comes to, he gets out of the coma, or whatever what he was under, and he's recuperating, and he had opportunity to meet this family that he never knew. And he sees the picture of his sister. He says, "Who's this person?" And because he knew in his head that was the lady that met him in heaven, or what he um, understood as being heaven. And they said, "That's your sister who passed away such and such time." Um, I don't remember the time frame when she had actually passed. So it's like, wow, this reincarnation, this could possibly be true. And why she decided to, to even meet a brother who she never knew. So how is it that she was able to tap into meeting him, So again, the mystery regarding reincarnation, so it's saying that we know things in the other realm that we don't know in this physical realm, and that's very provocative, I think, But again, you have people who, let's say you have people who have, um, like my cousin, she was 92 years old, who passed away yesterday. And I don't know when her own mother passed away, but I don't know what the time frame is in between lives. And, but I'm supposing, let's say you have relatives that may have already, after, they reincarnated before you could come and meet them in the other side. So what happens then? Who gets assigned to them? So that is a question that I have, and I was even there was some movie that I saw on YouTube. It was a short clip, It was some Star Trek um, movie, the TV series, the newer one, and the, one of the women in on Star Trek had she had a medical emergency and she was being worked on at the time, to bring her back. And this episode showed that she was met by someone, a spirit individual, on the other side, and the spirit had tried to fool her and wanted her to go with him, I think, into the light. And somehow in the conversation, she learns that this man, or the spirit man, said that that was her father. And in actuality, it wasn't. It was someone impersonating the father. And he wanted her to go with them. And that kind of blew my mind. I don't remember the complete details with that scene, but it got me thinking, when, we transition, how are we as individuals are to, as they say in the Bible, test the spirits. Not every spirit that you meet is of God, or that you have beings that could impersonate. And they may feel, well, if I didn't impersonate X, Y, and Z, then you wouldn't have done, X, Y, and Z also. So I was wondering how that is handled, you know? So this is just food for thought. And any of you out there on YouTube who have answers to these questions, I greatly encourage you to write your answers below in the comment section. Okay. Another question I have is, okay, I heard of the concept of what they call soul groups, that we go to schools when we're in between lives. And from lifetime after lifetime, when we're in between lives, there's like a school that we go to, and we discuss certain lessons that we're to learn. And these groups are to help you grow spiritually so that you advance. And so, my question regarding that is, well, again, let's say, not everybody dies young. Some, you know, die at an older age. So let's say in between lives of people, of what they call soul groups. Now, how is this arranged? Because it's time is could be stagnated. One person, it might be like a 50-year gap. So everybody's waiting for so and so to arrive in classroom, and um, so let's say at one time it might just be one person in this classroom or two, and let's say it's supposed to be a whole group. So how is that handled? If these soul groups in between lives, how do we handle that? How is that handled? You know. And then I also have here, let's see. Oh, okay. I had, I may have mentioned in an earlier video that I did actually talk to a medium. Again, this is part of my spiritual development, and in finding out about people who are these practitioners and what they're all about, and is there any validity. So this was the second one that I went to, and she had told me that my last past life, that I was a Japanese man in the military, and I was between age 24 25, and I died in battle. And I think she might have also said that in my reincarnations I had also, died in battle, and, a violent death. And so, what was the point here? Um, yeah, so if, like, when I was this other person, this Japanese man, in that lifetime, I had ancestors and, let's say, family members, and my identity would have been a Japanese person having Japanese ancestors. Now, in this life, I am not even a male and I'm not from Japan, different race. So we have this concept of race and nationality here, and my whole concept is different. So how do we? It's. I hope I convey this rightly, so you understand my point. So how do you handle the concept of ancestors? You have people who worship their ancestors, or at least recognize them. They might give libations, drink offerings to their ancestors. They might have an altar set out for them. So this, let's say, as a Japanese man, I had a little altar and I gave incense and libations to my ancestors. And then now in this life, I have ancestors who are from a different branch, so to speak, completely opposite spectrums. So what I'm getting at is, then who am I? What did change is the physical, but it's my spirit that is the same. So how do we supposed to um, identify ourselves? What is our true identity? And again, you have people who worship, venerate their ancestors. So who do I supposed to venerate? You know, is it my Japanese? Because now I'm aware of those Japanese, having Japanese ancestry through the spirit, that my spirit being had con- reincarnated as this other person, and now I'm a female in this life. So how does this work, especially with the soul group? Because I'm in this family now, and let's say when I transition, so who would be my family? Will it be is the family that I'm belonging to now, were they part of this Japanese group? So it's a question I have regarding, how it works with reincarnation and everything, and living in between lives. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, my last notes here is that I guess what I'm getting at with reincarnation and our identity, that here on this planet we're all fighting each other constantly. We're warring against nation, siblings against siblings. It's always a struggle and a fight. But if this reincarnation is true, you know, we're all family. So let's say you have maybe two families: the genetic family, who you belong to, or your ancestors in the body form, and then there's ancestors through your spirit that have been housed in different nationalities or genders. And if this is so, that you know, it's almost like a spider web. We're all interconnected. So why are we fighting? We're all related then, you know? So I said, okay, with all this and about reincarnation, what is it all about? And the last thing I have here in my notes is that, is all this about reincarnation, or the science of, you know, evolution, this fighting on this planet, is this all a part of what we call the Matrix, like the movie The Matrix? That all this is just something that is to add drama in our lives? What is it? I'm starting to think that, because the concept of reincarnation is like a wheel. You're just like a gerbil running on this wheel, and everybody's trying to position themselves to go higher and higher of evolution or being better than the neighbor. I'm wondering, and I'm starting to think, that maybe all this drama all this livelihood is really the matrix, to extract as much drama, which equates to energy, and that these beings that put us in this dimension, their whole plan is to extract our energy like a battery source. So these are just my thoughts, and I really would like, those people who really are a pro or expertise regarding the subject of reincarnation and life between lives. I did buy books on the subject, but I have not read all of them. And I mean, my book list is, I have over 50 books that I purchased, and they're underneath um, my coffee table. And I'm just reading one book now, and it's on, what was the book I'm reading? Yeah, I'm reading this book now. It's called The Akashic Records. I hope it's in reverse when I'm showing it here, but I hope it's filming, correctly. But it's how to read the Akashic Records, accessing the archive of the soul and its journey, and it's by Linda Howe. So I got this book to help answer these questions regarding reincarnation and um, everything about the planet that I live on. Is what type of world is this? Is this do we live on a globe? Do we live on a flat Earth, etc.? I want to be in the know, and so I want to really study this book, and then I want to apply the techniques and go from there. So that's all I want to say. And again, please feel free to share this video with friends or family members. You could subscribe. And once again, to give me the thumbs up. Peace. Bye-bye.